unidos en armonía, hasta que se despertaron unas fuerzas malignas que destrozaron nuestra paz.
Congratulations, I loved the movie. I really was obsessed since the presentation at the D23 Expo in 2019. And I wanted to ask you precisely about how the movie has changed since that footage that they showed us, particularly the character of Sisu, the dragon, that seemed to be described like someone that could be good or evil, and that idea is not in the final film. Why is that, and why these changes since that footage?
You know, our movies change and evolve until literally I stand at the door and don't let the directors in anymore because we are releasing now. So there's this constant evolution. At some point, the story starts telling you what it needs. The characters start telling you what they need. But even before that, we're digging into what's important to us. We're understanding the characters better and better. We're focusing the film, focusing the story, you know, trying to find, like, we knew, for example, that the film was about coming together. But we also tried to find what is the key. We wanted to get a little bit more sophisticated than that. What is it that allows us to come together? And we settled on trust. As because you have to trust the person, you have to take that first step. You have to give trust. That didn't come till later. The characters evolved so much as Raya evolved to become. At one point, we had her a real silent type. You know, she's distant from people, and so she was. But we realized as we watched the screening, it was very cool, but that we felt distant from her too. We need to connect, and so she became warmer and in that way more interesting and more flawed and more somebody we could connect to. Well, that made you want something slightly different from Sisu, who they're in this movie. It's the main relationship of the movie, is their friendship. Who is she? What does she bring? How do we find the humor, the heart, the kind of cool zaniness, okay? But with depth and with meaning. Because she carries great meaning both in the culture and in the movie. It's because of her that Raya learns to trust again. So the characters evolve, the story evolves, who is from each land evolved. A character who was female became male. Everything evolves and grows until in each one, there's almost like this energetic clink that you feel when it falls into place. And oh, okay. That's going to help determine what happens next. And Adele can tell you eight versions of the movie that we put up and tore apart.
Okay, so I also wanted to talk to ask you about how do you deal with expectations like this movie is inspired in Southeast Asia. How do you deal with the people, the audience of Southeast Asia expectations, and also if you feel like this interest that Hollywood is having about Asia and its professionals and its culture is going to stay and is going to be further explored in the near future?
I can start, but then Adele can answer as a Southeast Asian who is of the culture. For us, it was a matter of going on a research trip and finding both the beauty and the richness of the culture, but more importantly, the people we met in Southeast Asia when we went, and understanding how in this region of multiple countries with multiple religions and traditions and aesthetics, how the community forms despite all that. Like these are communities formed of people with such diversity of everything, of religion, of ethnicity, and yet people come together for the greater good. And we knew that this is something that we wanted at the heart of our film. So we started grounding the inspiration. It's a full-on fantasy film. Everything in it is invented with a fantasy universe of 5 different lands. But from there on in, we worked to infuse the film with its kind of Southeast Asian inspiration. And that included Adele and Kui as our writers. That included Fawn, who was our head of story. That included a whole Southeast Asia story trust that we had of archaeologists and architects and cultural anthropologists who help infuse the film and also keep us from help us keep that balance, that fantasy to inspiration balance. So I can say that. And just the other point that you made, I think what we'll find is more and more stories from more and more places that we're talking about such rich folklore. We're talking about a global audience. We're talking about, I mean, for me, what I learned about the Pacific Islands working on Moana was a revelation. And I knew the Pacific Islands, I thought. I knew nothing. And I learned so much and it became a second home to me. It's the same with Southeast Asia. So I think what it helps do is create a bigger scope for all of us, like an epic scope in a global world. But also it helps all of us see ourselves on the screen more. Spoken as a female, looking for strong female role models on screen, you know? It's starting to grow and it's time.
You want to add something, Adele?
Yeah, I would say this. It's like growing up in Malaysia and in Southeast Asia as a girl, you're used to seeing these faces from major Hollywood movies and Disney movies and feeling that you are not part of that world. And it has an effect, whether you're Asian or you're not, any little child from any culture that doesn't see themselves on a global screen, learning now that our audience is more global and we're finding inspiration from all these different cultures. And beyond that, I think the important message that it sends subconsciously to everyone is that whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, that your story is worth being told, that your face is worth being put on a major Hollywood movie, and your people and you are worth being celebrated. And really, this is what I hope people see when they watch Raya.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. So I have to wrap now. I could be talking all day about the movie. So
that's true.
Thank you again, and again, congratulations. I can't wait to see the movie again.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Mi amiga y yo vamos a arreglar el mundo.
Yo también deseo unirme a esta fraternidad de machacadrums.